everyone. Not long after I released my recent video on the lens mod that lets you put an 0.3 lens on the 0.4 air unit to make the FOV bigger and make the flying more enjoyable. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it over there so you can have a look after this one. So not long after I released this, Flywoo came out with this thing. It's their version of a lens mod and it can be purchased already installed on the 0.4. That saves you having to do any tinkering. It boasts a very large FOV, even wider to what we can achieve with this mod, and it deserves that we have a look at it. But even before I made my lens mod video, Flywoo already had this product, which is their old version of the lens mod. It's a small accessory that goes over the camera without any other modifications, and that supposedly provided the same benefits as their new lens mod. So now the question is, which one is the best? Or more accurately, which one is for you? I'm Krhom, welcome to my shop. As always, if you like the kind of videos I'm making, please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any question, leave it in the comments and I reply to every comment and I really enjoy doing so. It really is your involvement and your support that makes making those videos so fun for me. Alright, let me present to you the test fleet. The first one is a fairly conventional Krhom Mini build, so that's a 2.5-inch 2S quad, and it's fitted with the normal regular 0.4 air unit on it, so with the normal camera. I actually had to borrow this one from a friend because mine are all modified, so that's gonna be our baseline. Next up is also a Krhom Mini, so same 2.5-inch 2S. That's fitted with the lens mod I made during the last video. So that's going to be our 0.3 lens reference. Then we have another totally normal unmodified Krhom Mini on which I put the Flywoo wide angle lens adapter. So that's their lens mod accessory that you put on top of the camera, hence the big nose. And finally, this is also a 2.5-inch quad, this one on 4S. This is an Armatan tadpole on which I put the new Flywoo lens mod. All right. Let me charge a few packs and I'll see you at the spot for the actual testing. Right, let's start with this one. That's the default 0.4 lens, so we can grab a reference and know what to compare it to. The first thing I'll say is that regardless of the FOV, I'm having fun. Yes, it's true that the FOV isn't ideal, but it's really not stopping me from enjoying myself. I know some people get dizzy from that narrower view, but lucky for me I do not. But yes, as soon as I start doing some proxy moves like this power loop, it makes it very obvious that the reduced visibility is messing with my ability to gauge distances and altitude. Next up, we're doing the 0.3 lens from my video. This one's a bit scratched, so it's going to be a bit blurry on the footage, but we're looking for FOV anyway.
Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now.
Okay, so while I was enjoying the other flight, this is completely different. Here, I'm just having a blast. I like flying proxy, as you may have noticed, and here I feel in control. I feel like I get a good read on distances and obstacles, and in the end it just means I feel more confident, I can fly more aggressively, I'm making fewer mistakes, and when it comes to the juicier tricks like inverted yaw spins and juicy flicks, they just look better with the wider angle lens. Okay, next is the first Flywoo one. That's the lens that goes over the 0.4. I know there's some vignetting in the image, but let's see how it fares. So my first impression here is that it's quite enjoyable to fly. There's stuff at the edges for sure, but once you're in the goggles you don't really notice this anymore, it kind of fades away, and what's left is a decent FOV, like a good sense of speed. Actually, the thing I don't really like here, it's that lens flare and that kind of weird muddy blur that's probably caused by internal reflections. But other than that, like the juicy tricks, they do look good. But then again, if you compare it to the other lens mod, which doesn't have those issues, Well, I think it's an easy choice.
Like it's 1986 now. I pull over now, I can feel it still.
And last is the new Flywoo lens mode that I adapted in this tadpole. I haven't tried it yet, so let's take it for a spin. Okay, I think a lot of people are gonna love this one. But actually for me, there's something not quite right going on. I think it comes from the way the lens distorts the image. It's hard to describe, but it feels like I'm farther away from stuff. It makes it harder to gauge distances. I don't really feel as confident on it. I'm sure I could get used to it, but after, 4 lipos, I still fell a bit short on my power loops. Well, that one wasn't because of the lens mod. That was probably me. I did manage to land first try this trippy spin climb, so it's not that bad. The vertical FOV is quite good. Alright, before we move on to the conclusion, I prepared a small visualization of how all the FOVs overlap. First off is the base 04, on top of which I overlap the 03 lens mod picture, and I'm going to be using the building as a reference for size. Then you can see that the wide-angle lens adapter isn't that different if you ignore the edges. And finally, the Flywoo lens mod. And here I think I'm starting to see a bit of the explanation for that weird feeling I had. Because as you can see, if you use the building as a size reference, well, it looks almost smaller. It almost feels like this extra wide FOV is kind of squished at the edges, and the center is kind of narrower. I'm not really sure. So as you might have guessed, my favorite is this one with the 03 lens. I think it's mostly because of the way the lens distorts the picture, which is to me more natural and less extreme than on the Flywoo lens. I feel like I'm better at judging distance to my obstacles with this lens, but I also understand how it's really a matter of preference. And I think some people would possibly prefer the Flywoo lens. Actually, let me know in the comments which one you prefer. That's gonna be super interesting to see what you guys like. But yeah, I think the conclusion for me is every time I fly this bird, I'm really having fun, even more so than with the others. And I think that's the ultimate judge of which one you prefer, really. For that reason, I'm gonna leave you with the uncut DVR of my last battery on this quad. Hopefully you like it. See you later. Have a good one.